Welcome everyone to this explainer. Today, we're talking directly to all of our 8th grade scholars out there, and we're going to unlock the secret of how words can actually make music. Think about your absolute favorite song for a second. You know how the beat and the melody make you feel a very specific way before you even understand a single lyric? Well, poetry does the exact same thing. To really anchor our lesson today, I want us to think about this beautiful big idea. Isaiah 12:5 says, "Sing to the Lord, for he has done glorious things. Let this be known to all the world." I love this because it perfectly captures what we're talking about today. Words are powerful gifts. They aren't just boring data points sitting on a page. They're meant to be a glorious musical declaration. Okay, let's dive into this roadmap for today. We'll be covering the music of poetry, consonants, the magic of assonance, and sounding it out. Then we'll look at crafting your very own masterpiece, and finally, we'll wrap up with morality and peace. Section 1, the music of poetry. Why sound matters. Section 2, consonants, alliteration, and consonants. You know, readers might not always consciously realize what you're doing with sound, but they absolutely feel the impact of it. We're opening up our sensory toolkit today, starting with the crisp, driving power of consonants. And our very first tool is alliteration. This is simply the repetition of the same beginning consonant sound in nearby words. Think of the classic tongue twister, Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. But here's the absolutely crucial key to remember. It is entirely about the sound itself, not necessarily the exact letter. For instance, the words cat and kick share that hard k sound at the beginning, right? So they create alliteration even though they start with totally different letters. Let's look at this line. I want you to listen really closely to how this sounds. Whispering winds wandered wildly through the willows. Do you hear how airy and flowing that is? It literally feels like a breeze is moving right through the room. And this brilliantly illustrates exactly why alliteration works so well. That breathy W consonant physically mimics the movement of the wind. That repeated sound binds the entire sentence together, giving it a natural rhythm and cohesion. It actually forces your brain to slightly slow down your reading pace, which allows you to really linger on the mental image of the wind moving through those willow trees. Now let's meet alliteration's close cousin, consonants. So while alliteration happens at the beginning of words, consonants is the repetition of consonant sounds within or at the very end of words. Think of the bouncy rhythm in the lumpy, bumpy road. You can practically feel that MP sound right in the middle, creating this great bumpy texture in your mouth as you say it. Section 3. Vowels, the magic of assonance. Moving from the crisp bounce of consonants to a much smoother vibe, let's look at assonance. This is the repetition of vowel sounds in nearby words, completely regardless of the consonants around them. And just like alliteration, remember, it is all about the sound, not the spelling. The word blue and the word mood look completely different on paper, but they share that exact same lingering ooh sound. That's assonance. Listen to how assonance transforms this next line. The moon moved smoothly through the gloom. It's almost hypnotic, isn't it? So the crucial point is that the unhurried passage of time is literally built into the vowels themselves. That long, round ooh sound actually mirrors the round shape of the moon. It creates a really calm, slightly mysterious nighttime mood, and it's much subtler than alliteration. You feel its smoothness, stretching your reading pace into a slow arc across the sky, usually before you even realize why it's happening. Section 4. Sounding it out. Onomatopoeia. All right, let's bring the energy way back up for our most literal tool, onomatopoeia. This is when a word imitates the actual sound it represents, creating direct sound-based imagery. Think buzz, splash, or thud. This is the ultimate shortcut to sensory immersion. You aren't just telling the reader what's happening, you're making them physically hear the scene unfold. Imagine walking right into a busy morning kitchen. You don't just see breakfast being made, you hear it. The bacon sizzled as the coffee pot hissed. Notice how the sharp, popping inflection of sizzled perfectly mimics the hot grease, while the soft, breathy hissed echoes the gentle steam of the coffee. This tool pulls the reader in completely. It adds realism and texture, making the writing not just a mental exercise, but something totally physical and alive. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is how clearly you can see the difference between these 3 core tools. You use alliteration to link words with consonants for rhythm and unity. You use assonance to repeat vowels to shape your overall mood and tone. And you drop in onomatopoeia when you want to pull the reader right into the sensory experience through imitation.
Section 5. Crafting your own masterpiece.
Now it's time for you to become the creator. Here are your writing steps broken down. First, choose a theme or an image you really want to capture. Second, consciously weave in these sound devices, alliteration, consonants, assonance, and onomatopoeia to enhance the mood of your theme. And third, and this is so important, you must read it aloud to check how it flows. So let's see how this builds into your homework. I want you to really think about this question. Why should a poet read their poem aloud after writing it? Based on everything we just discussed about the musical nature of language, why is that spoken aloud step absolutely non-negotiable? I want you to think about how your mouth and ears process the words entirely differently than just your eyes do.
Section 6. Morality, education, and peace.
We've talked a lot about the mechanics of writing today, but now we really need to talk about the profound why behind the education we receive. Here is a beautiful biblical morality tip to guide your creativity. Poetry is a gift from God, meant to help us express truth, beauty, and emotion. Philippians 4:8 encourages us to think on things that are noble and good. So, as you read and write, use your words to uplift others and honor truth. Your creativity isn't just an English assignment. It can be a truly beautiful form of worship and encouragement to everyone who hears it. This is exactly why Heroes Smart Academy's Godly Learners series intertwines biblical morality with education. Let's be honest, education without morality will hurt. What is the point of being smart, of knowing how to write beautiful, powerful sentences, if we just use that knowledge to make bad choices that tear people down? True wisdom means pairing a brilliant mind with a really strong moral compass. And this brings us to our final thought. Romans 8:6-7 promises peace of mind to everyone who keeps their mind spiritual. When you combine your educated creativity, your mastery of alliteration, assonance, and rhythm, with a deeply spiritual moral foundation, the result isn't just a great poem. The result is true, lasting peace of mind for yourself and for those you share your words with. So, how will you use the music of your words today?